There we go. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Fun Fold Friday. I have a really fun card for you. So at first glance, it looks like a regular card. And then you're going to flip up the top and then you're going to open it up. So it's a version of a gatefold card with a card. Anyway, you'll see it. So I've prepped all my materials, and Case the Caddy last night, I used the beautiful Florals in Bloom suite of products. I'm going to turn my camera down in a second. And I showed you all the products in that suite. It's an absolutely beautiful suite. If you happen to have the annual catalog near you, then it's on pages 40 through to, it's a large spread. They've got lots of samples in there. Page 40 to page 40 to page, hold on, 47, I think. Yeah, 40 to 47. Lots of pages, lots of samples, lots of pictures of the actual products themselves as well. So that should be lots of fun. Now, let's hope we don't have any problems with the internet. But it's not the internet. I don't know what it is, but I just completely froze last night. I don't know if it was Facebook or what it was, but totally froze, had to restart. So let's keep our fingers crossed. I've got my feet crossed underneath my desk here, hoping that everything goes really, really well. So let's get started because we've got a lot of work to do. Solo layout. Okay, here we go. All right, so let me just adjust my camera to get it straight. And I'm going to pull it down a little bit closer here. All right. So the Florals in Bloom is a 2-bundle stamp set. So you've got 2 bundles. You've got this bundle here, Pretty Florals. So it's got lots of floral images, stems and the flowers themselves, and then lots of dies. So you can build some beautiful floral displays on your projects. And one of the cards as the sample is really, really sweet. It's like a little envelope, and then they've stuffed it filled with, I need another light. Hang on a second, you guys. Let me just put another light on here. Here we go. Okay. So there's a cute little envelope here with a whole bunch of flowers that are stuffed in there. So you can die cut, stamp and die cut all of these flowers. So here's another example, lots of flowers on here. And then there's 2 words that you can cut out. One is lovely and one is bloom. And it creates this 2-layered look with a bit of a shadow in the background. See, here it is in pink. So a white background with pink on top. This one is a white background, black on top. This is just the word on with one piece of cardstock. So you could have lots of fun with that. And then there's these gorgeous, gorgeous in color embellishments. Very pretty, gorgeous colors. It's just a gorgeous, look at this, just a gorgeous set. The DSP is gorgeous. It was all hand painted by a Stampin' Up artist and then photographed. They just do a beautiful job. Okay, so I thought I would just continue on that theme simply because I have everything out on my desk already, and it prevented me from getting up extra early to think of some other products to use. So we're just going to use these. And again, I'm going to use these gorgeous flag dies. They're actually called Party Banners dies. Look how many are in there. So if you're having a big celebration or a big party, you can create an amazing banner. And I'm sure there's lots of samples online for that. But I'm using those as well for the front of the card. All right, I've done a lot of the work ahead of time. So I'm going to show you what the card looks like, the actual fun fold. So, and then I'm going to show you how to make the fun fold. Okay. So this is the card. So I'm doing this in basic white to start with. So you see it's a regular A2 size card, but you flip it up and then you open it up. Okay, so it's a version of a gatefold card, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make this. So then I'm taking a piece of my designer series paper. This is cut at 4 by 5 1/4 just for a layer. You could layer it up a little bit more if you wanted to put a panel, a cardstock panel, solid color behind here, but I kind of like the white. It really showcases the paper. And then on top of that, I'm going to use one of these little banners in the color of Summer Splash. And then I've cut a smaller banner to go on top in white. And this is where I'm going to build my flowers. Okay. And then I'll show you the inside of the card. We've got some other designer series paper cut for the inside of the card, but I want to show you how to make the card. Now, as you can see, this, because we've got this extra, typically this is the card base, okay? But we've got this extra piece on top, so it makes the card a little bit thicker. Plus, you're going to add extra cardstock, because on the inside, I'm going to add a layer of cardstock and then a white layer. So it becomes quite, and then you've got layers on the top. So it becomes quite thick. So your card base, I don't know, I would just suggest maybe sticking to white and not using our basic white thick cardstock, but use the regular weight cardstock because it's a little bit lighter in weight. Okay, that's just a suggestion. All right, I've got 3 colors of ink here. I've got Cloud Cover, I've got Summer Splash, and I've got Berry Burst. Now, if you, just so that you're aware, this Cloud Cover, the ink pad, the ink formulation combined with whatever solution is in the actual foam pad didn't work out. The color didn't work out. So Stampin' Up! Has not produced this for customer purchase, okay? Only Stampin' Up! Demonstrators got the very first batch, and we're just using it and hoping for good luck with the color. But Stampin' Up! Was not satisfied with it, so they don't have this ink pad. However, what you can do is you can buy the re-inker, because that is still available. You buy the re-inker, and then you can buy our uninked stamp pad. You can get a large uninked stamp pad, or you can get some little minis. They're about, I don't know, 1-inch square little minis. And then you can ink them up with the re-inker, and then you'll get this cloud cover, okay? Then I'm using Berry Burst, and I'm using Summer Splash for my flowers. Okay, so let's get started. I want to show you how to make this. So you start off with an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. This is just a full sheet of our cardstock. Like I said, I'm using the lighter weight of basic white. We have a thicker one, but I'm using the lighter weight. And then I'm going to show you what to do with this. Okay, so you're going to get out your Stampin' trimmer, or whatever trimmer you happen to have. Let me just push my ink pads and stamps out of the way here. Okay, and I'm going to lift my camera up a little bit higher, just so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to turn it on the long side, and you're going to score this at 5.5, because that's half of 11. So I'm going to score this at 5.5. Score, not cut. Okay. Then you're going to rotate it to the short side. This is the short side at the top. And you're going to score this. Now, a gatefold is scored at 2 1/8 from each side of the card. So this is 2 1/8 inches wide here. So I'm going to score this at 2 1/8, 2 1/8. I'm just checking my measurements just to make sure. Yeah, 2 1/8. Then I'm going to score this. Then I'm going to rotate it to the other side and score it at 2 1/8 from the other side. Okay. Now, while I still have this in the track here, I'm going to do some cutting. So just to repeat, 8.5 by 11 on the long side, you're going to score it at 5.5. And then on the short side, the 8.5 inch side, you're going to score it at 2 1/8 from both sides of the cardstock. Okay, that's to start. Okay, now, then you're going to cut down to the 5.5 inch score line, which is right here. So I'm going to take my cutting blade, and I like to start. So you're cutting along this 2 1/8 inch piece, and I like to start at the score line, and I usually stand up and get good lighting to make sure that I'm right on that score line. There is a bit of a notch in the cutting blade, so you can see exactly where you are at the 5.5. Plus, you can look at your your measurements. So now I'm going to cut this up, okay? And then I'm going to move it over to the other 2 1/8 inch piece. I just have to get over this ledge here. And I'm going to go back here to where this other score line is. I'm going to pull my light over, make sure I'm in the track. There I am. Okay, and again, I'm going to come down to my 5 1/2 inches here and line it up and cut up. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to rotate the paper and put the 5 1/2 inch mark in the track, and you're going to cut from that first cut mark to the edge because you want to take this piece out. And this is, if you're using our basic white, this is excellent scrap for another project. Okay, then I'm going to lift my ruler up and I'm going to go to the next score line over here and cut out. So now I've cut out both pieces. All right, so that's good for scrap. And then this is our card base here. So we can put our, so this is what it looks like. Let me lift my camera up again a little bit more. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, so now I'm just looking for my mountain folds. And now you may see, I'll bring my camera down again. Just want to show this to you. Hopefully it shows up. You may see, you know, from your cutting blade, you may see a bit of a ridge there. So I just take my bone folder and I just flatten that ridge out. Okay, so when you're cutting, you may find these kind of little ridges. So you can just flatten those out. Now, the key thing is, now here's my mountain fold and mountain fold. So I'm going to fold this over and I'm going to make sure, I want to make sure it's even at the bottom. Take my bone folder and give it a nice crisp edge there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side and fold it, make sure my edges at the bottom are even. Okay, now the key thing here is when you fold this top bit up. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over and oh boy, I think I've made a mistake. Did I not score this at 5 1/2? 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't score it 5 1/2. Okay, so I made a mistake on here. So don't you make this same mistake. Make sure this is scored. When you have the 8 1/2 by 11, make sure it's scored at 5 1/2. And I did not score it at 5 1/2. I did it at 5 1/4. Yeah, look at that, 5 1/4. Okay, so don't make my mistake. So you can pretend this isn't here. As a matter of fact, I'll just cut it off. This card can end up to be, you know, shorter. But this is my prototype. I'm just going to cut this off here. I'm just going to take this bit off. Let me put a pencil mark here. You won't have to do this. Please don't do, oh, here's my pencil. Don't do what I did. Make sure that center line is 5 1/2. So we're just going to pretend. My original card is correct, but this card I screwed up on just to show you. I'm going to show you how you can make mistakes. Okay, so these will fold inside. This is your gatefold in here. Yeah, my whole card is wonky because it doesn't even meet in the middle. So this was a bad example. But anyway, this is the idea of the card. Now, if you have trouble folding down the top, which we do on this one I didn't have any problems. It all worked out. Look at that. It's perfect. And it even meets in the middle. So my demonstration was not good. But if you find that this won't go over, you may have to trim the top of this here. Okay, so I'm going to grab my scissors and you may have to trim it. I'm just showing you what you need to do. Just a smidge, you're going to trim it off. Okay, and then trim the other side. I'm just showing you what can happen when you make mistakes. and how to fix them. Okay, so now when I close this, my top will fold over. It's still catching on a piece, but you can work it out, okay? And then also I noticed if the ends of the card, the bottom of the card, if this isn't even at the bottom, then you can put this in a guillotine trimmer and then trim it up. Okay, so that's the idea there. All right, let's get on to the card that really works. So here is my original, and I did end up trimming this. Excuse me. I did. I got to drink a bit of coffee. Hang on. Oh, that's good. I did trim the bottom off on this card. Okay, time to decorate. So on the top of this card, this is 4 by 5 1/4 inches, and I'm going to just simply glue this right to the top of my card. So let me grab I'm going to grab my tape runner, and I'm going to grab my silicone mat. And now this paper has these gorgeous flowers on the front, and then has this pattern on the back. So for the inside of the card, we're going to put DSP on this gatefold here. Let me lift my camera up again. We're going to put some DSP on these panels here so that we open up the card. And so I just cut 2 of these panels from the same card, the same pattern. It was just the reverse of the pattern. So these are going to go on like that. Okay. But the front of the card, I want these gorgeous, gorgeous flowers on the front. This is such a fun layout because you can do so many different things with your decorating. So this is going to go right on the front. See if I can get that on nice and straight. There we go. Okay. So that's the front of our card, and then we're going to decorate this. Now, when I open it up, I have these 2 flaps here, and these measure 2 inches across by 5 1/4 in length. So 2 inches by 5 1/4, and then I'm going to glue these on. Now, I'm going to use Tombow for this because I want some wiggle room. Just to make sure I get them on straight. Come on. And I'm going to open up my card just so I can see my edges. And I'm looking top and bottom, left to right. That's looking pretty good. Okay, and then I'm going to open this one up and do the same thing. We'll put this one on here. Now, you could also, layer this up with cardstock underneath. But again, be careful with too much layering because, like I said, this card can end up to be quite thick. Okay, so I'm going to do this one now. And when you're positioning DSP and you need wiggle room, Tombow is your friend. You have quite a bit of time to position your papers. Okay, so now you have the top of your card, you open it up, and then here is, now the more you, excuse me, what is wrong with my throat this morning? My apologies. Okay, when you keep opening and closing, if you see a bit of, I don't know, bending or ruffling, I don't know what you want to call it. Again, you might want to trim that top a little bit. Okay, now for the inside of the card, you have an option here. You could put, oh, excuse me. You could put another piece of DSP on these 2 panels or not. Now, typically when you open up a card, the left side, when you open up the card, typically it's just, there's no decorating on the left side of your card. So it's really up to you whether you want to add some more decor on here. But what I've decided to do is I took one of the colors, which is Granny Apple Green. So this measures 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have my white layer, which is 3 3/4 by 5. So this will become the inside of my card. So I didn't feel that I needed anything here. I mean, you could stamp something on here, but I'm not really doing anything at the top. So I don't think the sides need it, but that is 100% up to you. And I'm not going to do anything with this yet because I haven't decided how I'm going to decorate inside or what greeting I'm going to use, if any. Okay, so let's play with the front of our card now. So what I'm going to do, this is going to go on top like this. And I am going to not stamp anything on here, but I'm going to start creating some flowers. Okay, so I have a piece of cardstock here that I cut the banner out of, so I might as well use it for stamping. And this little stamp here is a 2-step stamp. So we have an outline and we have the inside or the fill. Okay, so I'm going to start by doing one in Summer Splash. So these are the flowers that are on the front of this card, and I thought I would add some. Okay. So I'm going to see what happens when I'm going to ink first. Now I'm going to pull out, let's see, let's do maybe black. You could do basic gray is good for flowers too, for outlines. But I'm going to do black and see how that turns out. And I think I should have stamped this off. Let's just see how it works out. And then I'm trying to get my head right over here. There you go. Now, don't fuss. Oh, let's pull the camera down a bit more. Don't fuss about getting it exact. I kind of like the look when it's a bit offset. Now, what you could do is try to do the outline first. And you could go ahead and color these with markers if you wanted to, with your blends or your watercolor markers. And you have to kind of color in the background. But let's do this again. And I'm going to stamp this off this time. Let me get here's some scrap paper right here. I'm going to stamp it off to make it a bit lighter. There we go. Okay, so if you want a bit of a lighter version, I don't know which one I like better, but there's what it's easier if you remove some of the ink from the solid image, you can see through it better. Okay, so I have to clean this stamp. Oh my goodness, I didn't bring I just cleaned my cleaning pad and I forgot to bring it to my desk. So let me just grab, I don't normally use baby wipes, so I'm just going to grab a baby wipe here for cleaning purposes. In a pinch, a baby wipe will do. I did really have to clean off the black, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to pull in my next color, which is Berry Burst. And I'm going to do the outline first, I think. Okay, and then I'm going to do, now this is also a very dark color. So I'm going to do it twice just so you can see how it looks. So there is it darker. And this time I'm going to do it with stamping it off. And then we can decide which we like better. So I'm inking it up and I'm stamping it off on scrap, and then I'm going to stamp it on my flowers, my outline. There we go. I kind of think I like the lighter version. Okay, I'm going to do one more color. So I'm going to use Cloud Cover. So let's do our outline again in black. I'm going to do it twice because we're going to do both colors just to see how they turn out. Okay, and let's do Cloud Cover full strength. Oh, did I wipe this off? New. You definitely need to clean your stamps before you switch colors. So that's full strength. It's a pretty light color. Excuse me, what is with my throat? It's a pretty light color to start with. Oh yeah, you can't even see it. When you stamp off this color, you don't even see it. So we're going to go with this one. Okay, so we've done all our stamping. Let's just clean these off. Let's close this up. So you can see from this stamp pad, I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but there's some issues with the pad. There's lighter spots and darker spots in here. It's apparently the formulation of the ink doesn't work with the formulation of the pad itself, which is really odd. Okay, now I was telling you about another uninked ink pad you can get. This is our craft Stampin' pad, and you can purchase this. It's not inked at all. It's really meant for the white ink. So unfortunately, you cannot order this stamp pad by itself. You order it with a reinker of our craft white ink, but just don't ink it with the white. You can ink it with anything. So I did this with Tuxedo Black. I wasn't happy with the Tuxedo Black ink pad. And a lot of demonstrators were just taking this empty pad and putting Memento ink refill over it, and it just stamps a lot better. Okay, now we're going to cut these out. So I'm going to go to my die. Look at the dies. So this is the stamp set, and look at the dies in this. And like I said in my video last night, I only just started playing with this set, but now it's on my desk. I'll be playing more and more. So I'm looking for this little stamp, this little image here, and I'm going to cut out, I think we're going to go with the lighter version. So sadly, there's only one die. So let me grab some tape. So I have to do 3 passes through my machine, which is to my right. And my sweater just fell on the floor. Okay, so here's the first one. Now, here's another idea for you. You could use this die and cut this out of the 3 colors of cardstock. Just cut it out of the cardstock, and then you could stamp the image on top, or stamp it first on the cardstock and then cut it out. So you'd have a solid background instead of all this white on here. Okay, so let's do this one. So that's an idea. So I have a little bit of scrap here, so I could try that just to show you what that looks like. So here's this one. And then we have one more to cut out. Okay. So there's my third flower. Okay, now let me just show you, because I happen to have, I've got a piece of scrap of this summer splash. So let's just show you what that might look like. So what I would do is I would ink this up in black first. Like so. And then I would cut it out. Let's see what that looks like. So there's an alternate for you. Different way of doing it. Let's put that on there. Look, that's very sweet. So you could do it out of cardstock, or you could do it with the color. It's up to you which look you like best. Okay, now I already cut out, there's a little die here, this one here, and I die cut 3 stems out of Granny Apple Green. So we're going to put these on like that. Okay. So let's bring our card forward. And we're going to be putting them on top of this. Maybe I think we should adhere these two things together. So let's add some glue on here. I'm making sure my die cut is the right side up. And I'm looking at my point here. This is how I line this up to make sure it's centered. You want to make sure it's straight. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now the decision is, I think we'll do this color in the center. So we're going to do one like that. I'm going to do one a little bit lower. Maybe like that, and then like this. We'll do all 3. Maybe I'll put them closer together. I think I want them closer together. Okay, so I'm going to pull out my other glue with the pointy end. And let's put and I need my tweezers. So this one I'm going to put in the center. Now, I think I should put this on the card because they might hang off the edge. So let's add this to the card. I'm going to put in, let me just move my coffee out of the way. And oh, Judy, good morning, Judy. Oh, so nice of you to pop in. How are you? Okay, so I'm going to add this to my card base. And let's get it even as best I can. There we go. Okay, let's start building our flowers now. I just wanted to get that on there just in case these end up overlapping a little bit. Now, as per my usual thing, I always like to pop up the tops of my flowers just to give it some height and dimension. Let me grab my take your pick tool. I'm using my mini dimensionals. I'm just going to stick this on the top of each of these flowers. Here's another one. Okay, I wanted this one in first. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue here at the bottom. And then I'm going to stick this on like so. Okay. Okay, let's do the next one. So it's smart to put the tweezers on first, then turn it over and put the glue on. Okay, and let's do the pink one. And then let's do the cloud cover color. A little bit of glue at the bottom. And then stick that on like that. Okay. Now, it's needing a little something, something. I think I'm going to grab some, well, I could maybe tie a bow, but I think it's going to be too thick. So I'm going to use linen thread. It's always my go-to is my linen thread. So let's just quickly tie a bow. And cut it off. And I'm going to grab my dimensionals. And sorry, let me just put the pin back in this glue bottle. And let me grab my dimensional, and I'm going to put it right here, right on that middle flower. I'm going to push the glue down and then pop the top off. And then I'm going to put my ribbon on there, or my linen thread on there. I can leave these relatively long because I have the space. Okay, there you go. Now, I don't know that it needs any gems on there. What do you think? Oh, Sue is here. Hi, Sue. Yeah, these papers are absolutely stunning. Not sure if we need any gems on here. You've got these beautiful, beautiful in color. They're called flat pearls, the 2025 to 2027 flat pearls. The colors are absolutely stunning. Those are the 5 new in colors, but I don't think we need anything on here. I could put a couple down at the bottom, a couple in the corners. I don't know. I think think I'll leave it for now and then decide later. Anyway, so this is what happens. You open up the top and then you open up the gatefold. Okay, and then we have to do the inside now. So what did I do with those panels? Here we go. This is the hunt always with Erica Edney. She is always tossing stuff aside and then not finding it. I'm sure other crafters are just, oh, it's right in front of my face. Okay. So now, before I adhere this white panel to the inside, so remember, this is 4 by 5 1/4 granny apple green, and then this is 3 3/4 by 5. But before I put that on there, I can grab maybe a greeting. Let's grab the other stamp set and see if there's a greeting in here that I can use. You make me smile. Hello. How about hello? I don't know. You make me smile. I need a happy birthday. So, you know, I'm not going to do that right now. I have to decide on a greeting for the inside of this card. So we'll do it later. But this is what's going to go inside. And then when you do your greeting, ideas are that you place the greeting on here, and then you can use any other little stamp like this. I love this little stamp in the other stamp set. And then you can just add a few of these around the greeting. It just kind of makes the greeting stand out. And you could also put a little strip of DSP along the bottom here. Well, I could stamp have a lovely day in here. Maybe we'll do that, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, this lovely is quite a large stamp, and I haven't, it won't even fit on there. Okay, so we're not going to do that. Yeah, okay, we're not going to do that because that's not going to work. Okay, I happen to have a stamp set on my desk. Maybe I'll use this one. I have a thinking of you right here. This is the Botanical Layers. This is retired, but I had this out this week to make a set of cards for a gift. So thank you for everything. I love that. Let's just do that. I just want to show you what I mean by, and let's do this in the black ink. And let's put this, and I might do this flower in the bottom. So thank you for everything. So we'll stamp this on the inside. Let me pull this closer to me so I can make sure it's straight. Thank you for everything. Okay. And then now I'm curious, is there a stamp for, yes, so here's a stamp. So I could stamp this. Which stamp is it here? Now I don't have my Granny Apple Green ink here, so I could stamp it in Summer Splash. Sure, that's a good color. Actually, no, I need my Granny Apple Green, so just bear with me for a second. I'm going to grab it. And I need a block. So I'm going to stamp this right in here. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp. Now, is this going to be too high? should have lowered it a bit. Okay, I made a bit of a boo-boo there. So what else can I do? There's lots of other flowers in here. Let's use this funky little flower. This is kind of funky. And we'll do this in the berry burst. I'm going to stamp off because I don't want to hide the greeting. So let's ink this up and then stamp it off and then stamp it on here. There we go. That works. So let's close the ink pads. Okay, and then we're going to glue this to the Granny Apple Green. Okay, then we're going to glue this to the inside of our card. Hello, Lori. Welcome. Are you a first-time watcher? Nice to have you here. Okay, now I'm looking for my card. Yeah, here we go. If I consistently threw everything in the same direction, I'd have more luck finding things. Okay, let's move these inks out of the way here. All right, let's pop this in the middle of our card and then we can call it a day. We will have done another fabulous fun fold. All right, so there's your card. Something just dropped on my floor. I'll have to make sure I pick it up. So there you go. So I'm still contemplating a couple of gems on here. I might change my mind and put some on there, and then I will upload a photo so you can have a look. You could do a little bit of Wink of Stella on here. Actually, let's do some Wink of Stella. That might help pop out something. Let's just do a little few dabs of Wink of Stella on here. I'm just dabbing, not being precise at all. It's just like a little bit of glitter, as if it's the little bit of rain fell on there. Yeah, that'll work. There you go. Okay, so there you go. You flip up, flip out. That's why I called it flip up, flip out. Okay, so flip up and flip out. Now, again, as I said, you could decorate here. You could maybe put a few more flowers. You might, you know, put a few flowers sticking up here. It just depends on how much stuff you want to do on here. You can decorate it however you like. So let me pull my face forward just so I can say thank you and goodbye. Where's my mouse? This is always happens to be my mouse. Always, there we go. Where's my mouse? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, I'm back. Okay, thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed that. And remember that Facebook is not keeping videos around much past 3 months, I think. So if you can't find, as you scroll through my post and you can't find something, you can definitely go over to my YouTube channel. It's From Me to Paper Crafts, same as my Facebook page. And you have to look under Reels. When we stream to Facebook and to YouTube at the same time, on YouTube it becomes a reel. It's not in the main video section, it's in the Reels section. So make sure you look there and you'll see all of my videos. Oh my gosh, I love that card. So thanks once again. I will be back on Monday morning for Mojo Monday. We'll see you then. Bye.